Okay, so since folks were kind of asking about Discord, here's what Discord is and does. So you download the Discord app from the Discord website, or you can log in on your browser, or you can download it from the Play Store and or the App Store. Um, what it is a chat app that's designed for use with video games. So it's designed to be kind of low consumption and work in conjunction with something else, which makes it fairly reasonable for teaching. It does have a number of features that you probably won't need or want, or my usual complaint is that it has just a ton of buttons to start with. So when you download the app, it looks like, really honestly, it looks like this or something. So I have a lot of stuff going on in mine. Yours won't have this many things, but the basics are down the left-hand outer bar are servers. So those are, think like kind of broader, like chat groups kind of. So I tend to make one for each of my classes, but that's not totally true. For beginners, it's probably easiest just to have one that's like, this is my online office. And then there's text channels. So that's these guys. So if you click in these, you can see that people are talking in them. It's really nicely embeddable. It lets you drop links. You can drag and drop any file you want. It does not care about file extensions. You can drop code in here. It doesn't matter. There's a whole bunch of text markup features that are available, but really the kind of gist of it is if you want to drop something in here, it'll just work. You can just drag and drop things off the desktop into it, which makes it really convenient. So I've got my text channels. I've got my voice channel. If I connect to the voice channel in this server, I'll see this little icon down here that says voice connected. You'll notice that my mic is muted there. It is, I hope, not muted for the recording. It's not. Generally speaking, you can mute and deafen yourself. If you want to disconnect, make sure you hit disconnect. There is a little green icon that shows up on the server that your voice is being broadcast in, and that's just to keep you from talking in the wrong server, which probably won't be a huge concern for most instructors because I'm assuming most people won't have a million servers going. When you're in there, if you want to share your screen, you can hit this Go Live button, which might be super boggy right now. You can pick which thing you want to go live with. You hit Go Live, and then now it's broadcasting and you can see that I've got kind of an Inception style thing going on here. This is broadcasting my screen into this voice channel. So any user that's in this voice channel has the option, but it's only an option, to follow my stream. So if they hover over this little live thing, there'll be a button right here instead of your streaming that says join stream, and that'll let them see your screen. Do be aware that the screen resolution on their end can be a little bit wonky sometimes, so you want to make sure you turn up the screen size, especially if they're like on mobile or something. And you can do that with just a Control+. It'll increase the text size of whatever app you're using. So that's go live. If you want to stop, you just hit stop. If you want to leave the voice channel, you just hit disconnect. Everybody that's in that particular voice channel can hear you. If you own a server, making a new voice channel is super easy. So like if you look in the math server, there's these different group areas that I created just so I can have all my students together in the differential equations voice channel. And then I say something like, okay, you three go to group 1, you three go to group 2, you three go to group 3. Okay, collaborate on a problem, and then when you're done with it, report back, and then we can talk about it together. And you can see they're using these kind of whiteboarding apps. There's a couple options for whiteboarding apps. I dropped a couple suggestions in the Discord help area. If anybody wants to join this server, you can. In order to join this server, you can either click the link that I've sent out, or if you own a server, you're going to have to invite people anyway. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If you hit invite, you get an option to invite like known users that you've interacted with. Otherwise, this thing created an invite link. So it created this invite link. They default expire in a day. By the time you even view this video, this link probably won't work. So you want to hit edit and then set it to expire after some kind of more reasonable time frame. I like to set one permanent invite and then put it in my Canvas shell. But you do have to be careful because because that means that anyone with that link can join your server, and you might get people who are somehow affiliated with but not actually in your class in there. You can just kick them out, and then you can delete the invite if you want. If anybody has trouble with that, let me know. I'm happy to help. You can set a limit. I usually just leave them on unlimited. So if you guys follow this link here, or just download the app, and then when you hit join server, so when you go down here, this is how you're going to join a server. You're going to show up and there's going to be nothing in here. So you hit add a server, and then if you want to create your own, you hit create, and if you want to join a server, you click join, and then you can just paste that link in, or even just the last bit works. So just that bit will get you into that server. I'm already in there, so it won't do anything. And then if you need help creating servers, I'm more than happy to do that. I do administer this little piece of software, this Probot. That's a like moderation bot that's specifically written for Columbia College. What it does is it kind of logs everything that's said in the server, and when users enter and leave voice channels. It copies down any attachments that they send. So if you get these kind of like, it happened to me once that I had a couple students kind of got into a thing, and then there was a like they said thing, and having a log would have been super helpful. That's why I created this thing. It's been helpful in the past a couple of times. I've been like, guys, that file's not super appropriate, or I can see an interaction and then have some insight into exactly what was said and what was edited and when and where and why and all that stuff. It's probably a little overkill, but it also does some other classroom stuff. When users enter a server, it assigns them a role that manages permissions kind of reasonably. If you want that, just let me know and I can drop it into whatever server that you've created, no problem. So this is my kind of go-to for communicating with the students because it's lower latency than Zoom. I'm kind of surprised that yesterday this was down and Zoom was up, but this was back up 20 minutes later. So we switched into here, and it actually does work better because of that group split out kind of idea. I don't know whether that's of interest to people or whether the learning curve's too steep, but I enjoy this, and the students, a lot of the kind of geekier students already have this downloaded. So it's not an ad for them. It's just they add your server and then they pop in and tell you how everything works. If you need to manage users, they're kind of over here. Like if I wanted to send Lana a direct message, I can click on her name and then there's a message. If you want to send somebody a notification on their phone to alert them to something, you can just mention them. So if I wanted to @Lana, I'd just click this, and now this is going to cause Lana's phone to ding. If you have roles in the server, you can mention the roles. This server doesn't have roles. Let me find one that does. So like, if I wanted to mention the professors, right, I do @prof. If I wanted to mention the students, I do @student. If I wanted to mention the tutors, I do @tutor. And then that gives everybody who has that role a message. And it does push to their phone if they have this on their phone, which is kind of a nice feature. In order to stop things from being overwhelmingly dingy, though, I do mute the channels. And what that does is that that causes it to be quiet and not notify you unless a user directly either messages you or mentions a role that you have. So I find that to be a nice thing. I think that's about the right level of interaction. If I have a class with just a few students in it, sometimes I leave it unmuted, just so that I can react to them quickly. But when I have bigger classes, I usually mute the channels. And just tell the students that if they need to get a hold of you, they can mention you, and that usually works pretty well. So that's Discord. Let's see, other questions. The voice chat is or the voice channels are voice only. So don't expect to get a video feed, like a picture of somebody's face. It just isn't going to happen with this. That does actually make it lower requirements, so that our students who are like yesterday, I had 2 students attending class on their using their phones as hotspots, and this was working just fine. Zoom was only working without the video on anyway for them, so I think that this is a reasonable compromise, and it lets you have a little bit better functionality. If you need help setting up, just give me a shout. I don't mind. Join that help server. You can use the link that was earlier in the video. I'm not going to delete that. And then DM me or at me in there, and I'll gladly help you sort things out.